Hello, welcome to Push to Shout. We're live, baby.
Hi, welcome to the very special Thursday night, 1 hour late, 1 hour and 7 minutes late Push to Shout podcast. Every episode's special, but this one's specialer. Oh my God, the intro just started. Okay. Um, all right, we're here to talk about some video games, and we're gonna start it out with Mike here. By the way, I'm Skip, and this is Mike. And Mike here is going to talk about, he's going to rave about how Lisa is the game of the year already, even though it came out
Well,
last year. The best thing that ever happened to him. Go ahead, Mike.
okay. Good read, my friend. Lisa, I finished it. It was very, very good. I know I don't like Undertale to other people who haven't played it. I don't like to oversell it because it's just gonna make people not pick it up because being overly enthusiastic is kind of a turn off.
And you know, our theme here, our gimmick here is just to be cynical about video games and hate everything. Um,
Yeah,
that's kind of why people come, to the podcast. So we wouldn't want to be positive about anything. It would
yeah,
be bad.
but I gotta think about it some more. But I think it's better than Undertale.
Oh,
Uh,
I heard you liked Undertale quite a bit.
I did.
Oh,
It's kind of okay. It's way more flawed, but quality is additive, and it like Undertale has that really cool meta story, but this just has like a straight, very very good story.
right.
So yeah, it's excellent in a different way. It's if another game came out that was like Undertale, I don't think it would really be all that great. But because that's already been done now, it wasn't done before it did it. It was unique. Lisa, you could keep making something like this. It's a more like applicable to reality story with actual themes that relate to real life, and it's a story more than like an experience. So I don't know.
Makes sense to me.
It's cool. It's really cool.
I'm definitely gonna check it out, but I haven't yet. I've got a ton of games kind of on my. I've got so many games and TV shows that I want to play and watch and catch up on, and I can't even begin. Especially because for the last week, instead of playing any new games, I restarted a playthrough of Witcher 3, um, because that game's really good, and I wanted to play it more. And so I just started a new character, and I've been having a lot of fun with it again, even though I'm going through the same shit that I already did. Although, like I've done some side quests and stuff that I didn't do before, like found a werewolf man thing that was a pretty cool little side story that I completely missed the first time around. There's so much shit in that. Like looking at the map and looking at all the villages and stuff, I realized how much stuff, even in my 60 something odd hours that I played The Witcher 3, how much stuff that I didn't even see at all. Like villages that I never visited, entire areas that I don't even know what's there. So it could be a while before I would like to see everything in that game, but I don't know if I will. But I do like it a lot. Do need this. God, I've got Dragon Age came out on PC.
Dragon's
Um,
Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma. Sorry, Dragon Age is already. I don't care about Dragon Age, but yeah, Dragon's Dogma came out, and I want to play that really bad. I always wanted to play that, and I just never got around to it on console. So yeah, that might be a while before I even get to it. And I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff, a lot more stuff coming out at the beginning of the year than you usually see, I guess. But yeah, I finished The Witcher 2 also. It was a lot shorter than I thought. It was only like 3 chapters, but then epilogue and prologue. So it kind of flew by. But I liked it. It had a good little ending. It wasn't as it's so much smaller than The Witcher 3, and I didn't realize how much smaller it was. So it kind of surprised me. But I like it. It's a nice little package.
Plot through Witcher 3.
Yeah, you might as well. I mean, like the last chapter for me, it was really short. I didn't really do much of the side stuff, and it wraps things up with their little story. I kind of like The Witcher 2's, or I definitely like The Witcher 2's main storyline more because it's smaller scale and it's more dealing with kings and how they fight each other and stuff. It's not as it's not as like, oh, it's the end of the world. It's not that kind of thing. It's very it's not very intimate. It's still pretty large scale, but like it feels more like a kind of classic, you know, kings versus kings kind of story, and I liked
Yeah.
that.
Well, I've been playing way more weird games than that. Um,
Other than Lisa?
yeah. Well, no, not Weird and Elisa. I mean, like Witcher 3 is like a straight up excellent game that's like super quality and super polished. I
As it
played like
is.
the other end of the spectrum of
Oh no.
professionalism. I started picking up these RPG Maker like horror games. Not
Oh
horror,
yeah,
but
that's
like
a dark hole you can go
Yume
down.
Nikki, Dot Flow, and Mad Father I've been getting into, and they're really cool. Um,
Okay.
they're not the kind of games that you want to spoil or just build expectations for, because exploring and finding just the things that it shows you is the entire fun of it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're each unique in their own way, and sometimes very disturbing in a way. Games like that can be good horror in a way that things like Amnesia can't,
Right.
because all it has to work with is like unsettling you rather than like surprising you or
Yeah.
with the very realistic tension. It's always more like abstract and conceptual, just like weird visual things, or just the way you move around the environment and surreal parts of the world. So it, with those limited tools, it winds up doing really cool stuff. So those little RPG horror games are fun.
Cool. Neat.
And I also just watched the Steve Jobs movie. I came around
Which
on the
Steve
news
Jobs movie?
first, well, because the Sorkin one.
Okay.
I came around on the newsroom. I realized that the pace
Came
I was
around
pounding.
meaning you don't like it anymore?
No, not really. Because the pace I was watching it was like practically a season a day,
Yeah.
and I was
They
sort
call
of
that
able to
binging.
just, yeah, I was able to sort of just like think about those moments that I genuinely did like. But then when I started to try to rewatch the first episode, I was like, "Oh my god, I don't want to watch this." Which is the totally opposite experience I had with The West Wing. I could pop that on with my family and not feel embarrassed.
I'm
Like
so
there's something
glad that
about the
you
writing that's, yeah, it's,
saw the
but there
error of your
are there are
ways.
legitimately great moments
I mean, of
and
course there
ideas
are.
they
Aaron
bring up in that
Sorkin,
show.
I mean, he made
Yeah.
some movies that I really love. The Social Network is up there for me. Like, I really, really, really liked that movie.
It's really
Um,
just it's the core that's the problem.
yeah,
But
yeah.
there's some cool stuff in it.
The writing, like the characters. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
sometimes it's like sometimes good. Anyway, um, so yeah, but I watched the Sorkin Steve Jobs movie, which I don't really know what to think of. Have you seen it? Did anyone?
No, no.
Okay. Well, I've seen clips from the I already Ashton Kutcher, the fuck punk guy, punked
Right.
guy. Um, so yeah, that one apparently sucks, and from what I've seen, it does suck. This was much better, I'd say. He's not just randomly screaming at people, you asshole, you're fired. I'm a mean guy." It's more subtle in this one, and
Yeah.
it's very focused. Um, it's set basically in like three parts before the like keynote of three different products, and it's able to focus on a very narrow set of things. It's not like a whole sweeping biography of his career or anything. It's just like looking at Steve Jobs in a couple of those moments and how he like denies the paternity of his daughter, and it was a pretty cool take on it. I was actually interested, and I'm not really interested in Steve Jobs in general, so
Yeah. I didn't really want to watch those movies because, first of all, I'm kind of like you. I don't care that much about Steve Jobs. Sorry. But also, like, there's just something weird about, his death is still recent, and there's a lot of hearsay. Like, to me,
yeah,
his whole
yeah.
life is hearsay. And so it always feels weird seeing a movie made out of someone's real life or real experiences, but not firsthand. Like, I don't know. It just felt weird, and I didn't really want to even see
It
either one of those movies. So whatever.
it I know that it's like presenting a flawed picture of Steve Jobs. That's like the whole uh, like premise of it.
Sure.
But still, like the tone of it, it kind of feels like they're deifying him, like this, like a
Just making a
Jesus
movie about him
man.
in the first place is kind of like that, because like it's just not enough time has passed for him to become a historical figure or anything, which is what you usually see with
At
biographical
this point, it's
movies.
basically guaranteed, though, just like
Sure,
by
but like
feedback.
it's just so weird. The whole thing is weird, and the way that people treat Apple and Steve Jobs, yeah, that's something that I just want to stay away from.
I'd say I'd recommend it because part of the point is that it does sort of tear that stuff down,
Right.
but it makes it pretty clear that he was just in the right place and doing the right things. But I don't know, it was good. I liked it.
Okay.
That's about all I've been doing.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot either. I was trying before we came on. I was trying last minute to think of like, I mean, I know there's stuff I've seen and stuff, but I can't think of it. None of it left a big enough impression on me, I guess, to mention. So it's been a pretty slow week. I've been very busy anyway. But yeah, Witcher 2 and Witcher 3 do that to you. They make you forget to do anything else because they're very good games.
Yeah. I guess I could say one more thing about Lisa because I'm kind of more fired up about that than I let on. Sorry, I
Okay.
can't help it. Yeah, what everybody said. There's very little out there on this game as far as like analysis goes, which, not that it needs to be analyzed or anything seriously, but I'm just surprised by how good it is and how little content there is for it. Undertale, there was lots of people talking about it. Here, you can only
Yeah.
find a few um, videos about that stuff, and most of them are about the choices, because there are these choices you make where it's like, oh, do you want to, this is the very first one. This is barely a spoiler. Do you want to kill this party member or give up all your items? And it's a legitimate choice that makes you actually think about it. But more than the choices, the stuff that's just written into it is so good and funny that sometimes people pass it up. But just the moment to moment writing of it is really impressive and probably more like outright funny. Like Undertale has this kind of soft spoken sense of humor sometimes.
Yeah.
Lisa is like just laugh your ass off funny sometimes. It's it just whiplashes between being outrageously silly and just dismally oppressive, and it doesn't care and does it from screen to screen even. It's really cool how it manages like its tone and manages to be so funny and
Yeah,
serious
you
together.
showed me some of that music from the
Yeah,
soundtrack.
it's so
It's a very
strange and unique.
eerie game. It's neat. I just remembered something that I actually think this was a couple weeks ago, and I forgot to mention it last time. But I watched Gone Girl.
Oh,
Have you seen
what do you
that?
think? No, but it's David Fincher, right?
Yeah, and it's God. It was weird. I didn't have any idea going in what the movie was about. Like, I guess I was lucky enough to just avoid any kind of discussion about it or anything, and so the places that story goes are really really surprising if you go in blind, and I enjoyed it. It's an intentionally unnerving movie with like I think an intentionally unsatisfying kind of story, I guess. Like it doesn't resolve very well, but it's worth seeing. It's fascinating. Like I don't know if I've ever seen a movie like that, and that might sound like giving it more praise than maybe it deserves, but I did enjoy it a lot, and it's well directed. But it's just the nature of the movie is so it's unique, and it has a kind of an oppressive or oppressive is the wrong word, but like dark atmosphere, and the theme is dark too. But like It's cool. I liked it. I kind of want to watch it again, because I was I was kind of I was blind enough going in that I halfway through the movie I still didn't really know what was going on, and so I think I could benefit from a second viewing. And yeah, it's a little bit of an adventure. I did enjoy it.
Um, I almost forgot this, and I'm so glad I didn't. I found an awesome YouTube channel that I have to share with people.
Oh, I checked out the thing you mentioned last week, the guy who did the fig thing, and I couldn't. I hated his voice. I
It's so
hated it. I
yeah.
couldn't do it. I could not watch it.
You kind of got to power through.
Just didn't. I just took his word for it and closed
Okay,
the video.
okay, that's all that matters.
Anyway, go on.
Okay, it's called "You Suck at Cooking," and it's
Okay.
so interesting.
What is it?
So it's this guy, and he must also be a trained filmmaker because these episodes are put together so like perfectly. There's like these comedy cooking episodes. It's I can't really describe it, but it's these weird surreal short films about making food that's like delicious, that's like part tutorial and part really strange video. It's really weird to describe,
Yeah,
but
that's a bad
it's very
description.
very funny. How can I better describe it? I guess it's very simple recipes, and he shows you how to make them, but it's a tutorial augmented with surreal departures and breakaway skits.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's worth checking out. It's You Suck
I
at
like
Cooking.
I like that cooking videos on YouTube have kind of created a genre of their own where people have just totally done really weird spin-offs, like starting with like Epic Mealtime, which at the time was kind of funny and now very quickly got old. But moving on to like there's a guy who does videos with his son, like a very young kid, and he lets the kid pick out the ingredients and cook in quotation marks a meal, and those were pretty entertaining videos. And then there's Cooking with Dog, which is just like a really straight faced cooking tutorial channel, but narrated by a dog that just sits there and watches the lady that cooks. There's some weird stuff out there. There's R.R.
Maybe
Cherry Pie, who shows off little Japanese mini meals, but they're like candy. They're made out of sugar, but they're just made to look like a little McDonald's Happy Meal and stuff. You should check out R.R. Cherry Pie. it's,
I'll have to. So
talk about a weird dark rabbit hole.
this You Suck at Cooking guy, an example will probably do a better job. He was talking about how to make like the perfect ramen salad, and he was showing all the steps. And he got to the cucumber, and it says, "This is what I like to do with the cucumber." And then he slices notches into it with like 6 strings and all the frets of a guitar. And then it's like a point of view shot of him with like this cut up piece of zucchini with like flaps for strings. And then he plays the zucchini like a guitar, but a guitar is recorded and is synced up perfectly to him playing the zucchini, and it's a total one-to-one match, and he plays a song on the zucchini accurately with the frets. Like, and then he just says, "Don't put zucchini in the fucking bowl." It's so
Okay.
funny. It's
I'll
weird.
have to check that out.
Yeah,
That sounds bizarre.
it is. Oh, Metal Gear. Have you played it?
Did the online come out?
Beta did.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't played it.
I haven't played it either, and I don't really have an interest in doing that.
It's been too long. Like I wish it came out back when like a week after the game came out or something, so that you could like take a break from the single player and play some multiplayer. But like now, I don't really want to go back to the game. I'll still probably check it out because it looks neat. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just been too long. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto 5 has some really great additions to the online now, and I just can't bring myself to go back and actually play the online, even though I kind of want to. Like they've added a lot of stuff that looks really neat, but oh well, it's just been too long. I like that those kinds of developers continue to support their stuff and release content like that, but I almost wish they just did it in bigger chunks so that it was like an event instead of like these long drawn out, edition by edition by edition, and it doesn't pull me back in strongly enough. But maybe if I ever finish The Witcher 3, I'll check it out.
How far would you say you're into that?
I played probably 12 hours into my new playthrough. Like I'm halfway through the Bloody Baron quest line.
Okay.
And I've been doing some side stuff too that I hadn't done before. I've talked a lot about The Witcher 3, but it continues to impress me. The world, how beautiful it looks, and like how unique all the different little areas look. It just blows me away.
Well, according to commenters on my videos, apparently The Witcher 3 is an overhyped cocksuck game.
Yeah.
And I can't tell if I'm ironically
Well, that too.
joking.
No, I mean, yeah, I wish the horse was better. That's my one wish for that game, because goddamn, the horse sucks so much. It gets stuck on objects. It's terrible to control. It stops randomly for no reason, and it drives me insane. Although it is cool. Have you tried in Witcher 3, like trying to hit someone while on the horse with your sword?
I've never really tried it for very long.
Do it. Next time, like you're riding by like a bandit.
I don't
or something
remember
like
it
that,
working.
You can just press X and he'll swipe and he'll do it
No, it
automatically.
didn't. It just didn't do much.
So I'm playing on hard mode, and there were a couple of sections where there'd be like multiple enemies out in the wild, and I'd be struggling a little bit, and then I tried just staying on my horse and running by and swiping them, and it does a lot more damage if you're like at full speed, and it's just really satisfying because you'll just like run by and you'll swipe your sword and their like head will fly off, and it's really great. You should try it again. That game's great. I just wish the horse didn't suck. That's all.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back into it for sure.
I'm enjoying it a lot more too. Playing it on hard the first time around, especially like around this time of the game, towards the beginning, I was struggling a ton with like bosses and stuff. And now I'm taking more advantage of potions and bombs and oils and the signs, and I'm enjoying it a lot more as a result. Like actually preparing for the fight rather than just kind of going in and winging it. And it's way more satisfying if you play it like the proper way. And I never really took the time to play it the proper way originally. So
This is a total change of topic.
that's fine.
I can't believe I didn't remember this. But I just went to Broadway, New York City, and saw the Book of Mormon live.
I saw that you were in New York City. Yeah, you saw the Book of Mormon. I wanted
Yeah,
to see that,
I
and I
did.
never got the chance.
Yeah.
It was in Birmingham, and I just never went.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend, we went up to New York, and we saw the Book of Mormon live, and it was like incredible. So I hope there's no lawyers listening. I watched a bootleg recording of the original production of it years ago,
Yeah.
and I knew that I just had to see it live and legit because it was amazing, and it was even better in person. I listened to the soundtrack to it like a million times before going to it, and not like recently, but just over the years. And it was something to see in person. The music is shockingly good and catchy.
That's awesome.
It's like the humor is a given, but the fact that the music is so good on top of that,
yeah.
and
Well, that's
instantly
how like
hummable. It's special.
That's how the original South Park movie, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Like nobody expected that. They expected it to be a long South Park episode, but they straight up did a musical with it, with legitimately like they tried to actually make the songs catchy and stuff. And didn't one of those songs like win an award?
Yeah. I know it was nominated for an Oscar
They
for best
have
song Blame Canada, but I'm not sure if it won.
yeah, they found some talent that does the music for them, and the
Well, it's
Team
for that
America
movie
has
it was them.
good music too. They didn't like. I mean, surely they have someone who writes the songs for them, though.
Well,
Like the
that
actual.
that was what they majored in, music.
I had no
They
idea.
get help, I think, but the help was more substantial in the Book of Mormon. They got the composer for Avenue Q to help them on this, but
Huh.
from as far as I remember, Bigger, Longer, Uncut was more them.
That's really impressive. Then I didn't know that. God,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're
that's
really talented.
they are. They're very talented, and I've heard great things about the most recent South Park season, and like the topics that it touches and everything. I've heard people really enjoyed it, but I only watched like the first couple episodes. I need to. That's yet another. I need to watch that, and I need to watch. I need to finish up Narcos, Fargo season 2. I would still need to watch Better Call Saul. I want to watch that Making
When
of a
is that
Murderer
Better
show.
Call Saul season 2 coming out?
I have no idea. I don't
I need to
care
know
because I
that.
need to watch season 1 still.
Season 1 was great.
Yeah, so I'm way behind. Nathan For You is really good. If you haven't watched Nathan For
Yeah,
You,
it is. I have. It's
you
really
should
good.
check it out. Yeah, God, okay. Let's move on to news. Um,
There's lots
you-
of sad news.
well, yeah, not so much video game news, but I
It's
guess you
still
could say
sad.
I guess you could say David Bowie was Metal Gear Solid news.
God damn it.
Yeah, I mean it is sad. It is. I David Bowie, like he's someone that I liked his music. I hadn't I never got into his music or anything like that, but I've always kind of enjoyed his music passively. And then when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, it kind of made me check him out a little bit more. And that guy was something else. So it was,
Yeah, really.
yeah.
I'm kind of surprised by how comparatively little is being made of his death compared to
wouldn't
someone
call it-
like
I wouldn't
Michael
say that.
Jackson.
I don't know. I have seen a ton of shit about David Bowie.
I know, but it's still he
I would
was
say
like
Michael
another
Jackson was
league.
bigger than Bowie. I
I
mean,
know, but just his music was it was so diverse and so good for so long.
it's 80s music that fits the genre of 80s music but doesn't suck, and that's,
Yeah.
there's something to be said for that. So yeah, that was kind of crazy. And then Alan Rickman this morning, or in that news too. It's been a bad week for kind of old but not super old celebrities.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't lose too many more this week.
Alan Rickman, you may know, is Hans Gruber and
Yeah.
Severus Snape.
That's how I always associate him with Hans Gruber, but then like online everyone's talking about Harry Potter, and I mean I liked the Harry Potter
Yeah, it's
movies just
just
fine, but I just never
the
really
reach of it.
associated him that much with Snape as much as Hans Gruber is Alan Rickman to me. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
definitely.
Yeah. All right, but let's get back to video games. Let's stop talking about dead celebrities. Let's talk
That's
about
what gets the rating, Skip.
let's talk about art games such as That Dragon Cancer. What do you have to say about That Dragon?
Well, I don't have
Cancer?
anything to say about it, but I heard you tweeting about it through the Twitter
Yeah.
Vine, and
I've
seen some
I-
buzz.
I don't have that much to say about it either. I haven't played it. I watched the trailer for it. That's the extent of my.
There you have it, folks. Our very well-informed perspective.
Well, the reason that it's become news recently is that I guess so. The game is it's made by I think a couple who lost a kid to cancer like at a very young age,
Oh.
like basically a toddler, and they made a game based on their experience with it. And it's a very artsy, abstract kind of game, and it's $14 or $15 on Steam, and they started a Kickstarter for it originally to be made, and I don't know why, but for some reason this game in particular has come up with like a bunch of people saying that it's wrong for them to be asking that much money for the game, and that they're profiting off their kid's death, and all sorts of really nasty shit that I don't understand at all, because people make Kickstarter games and then sell them for money all the time, and I don't know. It's really weird. It doesn't look like a very good game to me. Like I don't have any interest in it, and I don't think I would enjoy it. And I don't. From what I've read about it, it seems like the fact that it's a video game is more of like a secondary thing, and that it really shouldn't be a video game because the video game stuff detracts from the overall experience, et cetera, et cetera. And also $15 for what seems like a very short game, all that. But people can charge all the money they want for their game, whether it's Kickstarted or not. I don't know. It's been a really weird.
What a rip-off. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's worse than fucking Lehman Brothers.
Then Gone Home and all the other walking simulators. Whatever.
People get
There's
way
not
too
much.
mad about that stuff. Like,
They
on
do, and-
principle, which is... They're not, like, bad in theory, really.
Yeah, I mean, so like Gone Home, I think people's biggest problem with Gone Home was the fact that it was so expensive and it was so short. But then it gets blown out of perspective where people say, well, you know, you could complete it in 2 minutes. Well, not really. Like, yeah, you can.
You have to turn on the thing
technically-
that makes everything unlocked to do that.
Yeah, you have to play through the game to do that blind in a blind run. But whatever. But like people, if you don't think it's worth $20, like the beginner's guide. I didn't particularly love the beginner's guide. I could see where it was going, and I could see how someone could enjoy it if they shared the kind of emotional experiences that the game was going for. But for me, it wasn't worth the money, and it was too short, and I didn't enjoy it very much, and I got a refund on it, and I was fine with that. Whatever. I paid for it. I didn't like it. I got a refund because I didn't like it and didn't think it was worth it. Luckily, Steam lets you do that now. So there's no... I don't know. It's capitalism, guys. People can charge whatever they want for their games. And also, I like the concept too. I like the concept of people making a game based on like a really really horrible thing that happened to them, and kind of like coping with it through, you know, making something that's cool. I like the idea. I don't know if it was well done or not, but whatever. It seems cool. I think a lot of people take issue with it because they talk about like they're Christians and they talk about like Jesus and stuff, and so the internet hates that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I love talking about this stuff, as
It's-
you can tell.
It's video games. Social
there's-
justice warriors.
Yeah, let's all take a moment to remind ourselves what the most important thing about video games is. Social
Gamergate.
ideological conflict.
Gamergate. Tweet about it.
Coming back.
Hashtag Gamergate. Tell people to watch this episode.
Oh, God.
For all their
even,
Gamergate.
even as a joke, man.
Yep.
Uh,
Is there any other news? Someone left Rockstar. Someone prominent left Rockstar. The project lead on. I don't know. Someone prominent. I
Rockstar
don't know.
North boss?
Yeah, that was it.
Huh.
You know, it's time for Rockstar to start announcing a new game. I guess maybe at like E3 or something.
Yeah,
I wonder-
I guess it is about time.
Red Dead 2? Red Dead 3? Red Dead Revenge?
Okay, so they made 4 in 2008, and then 5 in 2013.
I think it was Grand Theft Auto 4, and then Rockstar North or Rockstar San Diego. I don't know which company. I think after that was LA Noire, right? And then Red Dead
yeah,
Redemption,
LA
or is
was
it the other way around?
2011. And then Max Payne 3, I guess.
Max Payne 3, yeah.
So,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, God, I forgot about Max
And
Payne
it probably
3.
is time for them to
Max Payne 3 was a good game. I liked that game.
one of their studios, at least.
Yeah. I would love to. God, I'd love to see any. I'd really love to see a completely new, you know, IP. But honestly, any of their games, I would love to see a sequel. Yeah, there's all their stuff. People have been talking about a Bully sequel. That maybe has been long in the works, which would be really cool. I don't know. They've always made such good games that even if they just try to iterate on something they've already done, that's fine with me. Like,
When I
they're
hear
really
the
fucking good.
sketchiest, I was just looking at a rumor about Red Dead Redemption 2, and this is one of the sketchiest lines I've ever read. So tell me if this makes you confident that it's a sure
Okay.
thing. Red Dead Redemption 2 has been linked with a 2016 release date.
No.
It's a
That's not
highly
gonna happen.
anticipated title that has yet to be confirmed or teased by Rockstar.
Where did you read this? What
It's
reliable source?
express.co.uk/entertainment. It's basically the most clickbait,
Yeah.
like boilerplate.
I would take Red Dead
Line.
Redemption on PC long before I would take a sequel, though. But that's probably not going to happen.
I would love a sequel on PC.
Yeah, it's like Grand Theft Auto 4, LA Noire, and Max Payne 3 and Grand Theft Auto 5 all came out on PC, albeit all of them I think delayed releases. But Red Dead Redemption never got what we all want.
And it deserves it so much.
It's yeah, in my opinion, even after Grand Theft Auto 5, which I really loved, it's still probably my favorite game of theirs. I love that game so much. And yet we'll never see it on our favorite gaming devices with Oculus Rift support.
So, did the Vive come out with a price yet?
Not yet. Not that I know of.
It's all on them.
I imagine it'll be more expensive. The Vive's going to have the camera, the front-facing camera, and it's going to have wall mounts, and I think it's going to come standard with motion controls too. So I think it's going to be even more expensive.
Okay, never mind.
So
looks like Oculus is safe for now.
Yeah, I guess safe. I don't know. Maybe if the Vive is $700 instead of $600, then maybe I'll go for the Vive because at least it's the more premium product for not that much more.
I guess so.
See. Or maybe they'll figure out a way to actually drive costs down before its release, but I also doubt that. So I don't know. Man, I wish VR could just get here now. I really want it. People, I've heard people talking about it's something that we in the video game side of things don't really think about very much. But when people outside of video games think about VR, they think about how can you create more video experiences with it.
Yeah.
And there's been ideas like live events, sporting events and stuff, putting a camera that has 360-degree support, on a sideline of a field, and you can sit there in your Oculus thing and be there. And that actually seems legitimately cool. Gimmicky, but still really awesome. It makes me really excited. I'd love to see what people do with it. You can also sit in a virtual living room and play normal video games and watch normal movies on a very tiny screen on your low resolution screen. That seems really weird and stupid, but yeah. Hopefully that stuff's not too far off because I can't wait. I want to go to space.
I want it to be resolved and over, and there to just be a working one that's affordable and everything's also worked out. This is like a third generation product for me.
Donate to the Push to Shout Patreon and GoFundMe so that we can buy new PCs and Oculuses so that we can give you the best reporting experience.
It will quadruple the production value. There'll be videos like you've never seen before.
Yeah, you won't even believe it's the same production.
We'll blow you out of the water. We're gonna revolutionize streaming. Bring it to you in 3D.
Mail us your cash.
Do you think there's a way we can physically surround our viewers in VR?
I'm sure that we'll find the way if they fund us.
Yeah. This is probably not worth bringing up, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I mean, we're starved for content this episode, so...
I was listening... Don't ask me why. I don't listen to this show, but I decided to listen to John Jafari, John Tron's appearance on the Co-Optional podcast, the most recent one. And they started talking about The Witcher 3. And I just got so irritated.
Well, what were they saying about The Witcher 3?
So, it wasn't them, it was just JonTron. JonTron was of the mind that The Witcher 3 is bloated, grindy, and he just doesn't get it. And then he made 20 minutes worth of comparisons to games like Dragon Age and Skyrim, and saying that they're clearly better. It was just I don't know, an impressive display
of ignorance.
Yeah.
As you know, I follow the Giant Bomb site and their stuff, and they had their Game of the Year stuff. And what they do is they record these podcasts where they give the awards they discuss who they think should win various awards and stuff, and they just talk about it and record a podcast while they're talking about it, and then do the official reward stuff. And for their game of the year thing, they try to rank them 1 to 10, all kind of by committee, like reach as much of a consensus they can as to like what order their game of the year list should be in. And none of them had finished The Witcher 3. None of them had even gotten really past like 20 hours into it, because Metal Gear Solid 5 came out around that time, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Witcher 3 came out, people played a little bit through it, and then Metal Gear Solid 5 came out. And this was how it was for me, too. Like, I'd reach a point in The Witcher 3, and then Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, and I didn't touch it for, like, a month and a half. And they never got back into it. And then they proceeded to say, like, oh, the Bloody Baron questline is the best part of the game, and it's downhill from there, and it gets really slow and just not as good after that. And they're just wrong and ignorant, and it pissed me off. So
Yeah.
there you go. That's what I think about.
Oh yeah, I
Giant
made a
bomb.
whole video just because I was pissed at my like subscribers. God damn it.
Did I see that video? What?
It was the
Oh yeah. That was a
yeah.
good video. I liked that.
the parody video. It's satire, it's a parody meant to make you laugh. Funny
Before you
parody
go in,
video.
make sure you know he's making a joke,
Yeah.
tongue in cheek.
So, what made my day though is the guy, or at least one of the guys, who commented on the interview video, being confused if my like 12 minutes of sincere critique was all a big lie,
Yeah.
an elaborate
It was all a
scheme.
parody.
He actually commented on this video that was basically about him, and as he kept replying, I started just getting nastier and nastier and just shutting him down. And you could see the moment where he turned, and then I got one dislike on that video and lost a subscriber, and it was funny as shit. it was great. It was some entertainment for me.
Poning people in your comment section
Yeah,
there.
guys, this is me, Neil deGrasse Tyson, poning an ignorant fundy Christian on the I Fucking Love Science cast.
Thank you, Neil, for bringing science to the masses. I fucking love science.
I fucking love science.
I fucking
Let me
love
tell
you,
ya.
Neil. Planet Earth. Check it out. Check out Planet Earth. Learn about some science.
Oh, okay. I mentioned this by name, but I want to get more specific about it. So one of those RPG Maker games is not like a procedurally generated dreamwalking thing like you and Nikki. The name is Mad Father, and I'm not really sure what to think of it yet. But basically, your dad, you're like this little Japanese girl, this little cute anime girl, and your dad is cutting people up in the basement, and like your
Jesus.
mom probably killed herself, and like it gets very dark and weird, but I don't really know if it's interesting me yet. I don't know. You can never tell if something like this will actually go somewhere or if it'll
That's
just
my problem with,
completely
like,
fizzle out.
Yeah, I think this is an issue with, like, especially small video games in general, which is that someone will have a really, really great idea and execute it really, really well, but then just kind of, that's it. And it isn't a complete package. And so you end up, when you're talking about the game, say things like, yeah, I loved what it did there, and then the game as a whole just doesn't actually hold up to it. And
Now that is what I'll say about Lisa. Is the core of Lisa is remarkably solid and fleshed out, that it's able to hold its weight and wrap up in that way. I don't know if this will go anywhere, but Lisa definitely did. It managed to actually live up to everything it sets up.
that's nice to hear.
And it's basically how to do a sequel. It's got like this little expansion sequel thing that it's called the Joyful, Lisa the Joyful, and you buy it on Steam as a separate thing, but it just adds it to your launcher, and it's a completely self-contained thing that doesn't carry your save over at all, but it continues the story and wraps everything up in like a perfectly satisfying way. It's just nice when a game will have all these weird setups but actually pay them off
Yeah.
in satisfying detail, and Lisa does that.
You know what I was speaking of satisfying games that do a really good job, I was looking up clips. I wasn't actually playing it. Portal 2, which I haven't thought about like since it came out really. That game's actually really good.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
The part where Wheatley goes bad in Portal 2, even a lot of people, I remember when it came out, people were criticizing it, like, oh, well, I saw it coming a mile away. That's kind of the point, first of all. But it's, like, really well done. Like, really, like, he's in the room, and he's surrounded by those, I don't know, robot pad things.
Yeah.
And, like, he starts, like, laughing maniacally, and they're, like, moving with him as if, like, you're in his body. And
Now,
then, like...
That's the last single-player thing they made, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty much the last thing they made in general, except Dota. I think Counter-Strike, but
Yeah, I
that's
think you're
not
right.
even really. That's another thing I meant to mention. Actually, it was the writer of Valve's. I think the entire Half-Life series. I think the writer left. So Half-Life 3 is
Wow.
never coming out. I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
Half-Life 3 is already written. But yeah, he's gone. So no word yet on on Half-Life 3.
What? When did this happen?
Or I think this week. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty bad. I mean, I think they've still got a ton of other talented writers and stuff that are still on the team, but that was like, I think that was the main one. I don't know his name, sorry. But I don't know.
He was
maybe,
the lead and sole writer for both Half-Life and Half-Life 2.
I don't know
Wow.
about sole writer, but
That's
yeah.
what it says.
Okay. So either Half-Life 3 is being made and they've done...
It doesn't matter now.
they've
to
written
me.
it. Well, maybe it's already
Unless
written
it's
in
done. I don't know, man. Shit.
it.
But it's if he's the sole writer on both,
Yeah.
then I mean, you have to edit as you go, and
Well, maybe they're
Man.
going to announce that it's actually coming out in like a month and they're already done with it.
no way. This feels like the death knell.
I gave up on Half-Life 3 about a year ago, so maybe even more than a year ago.
I always saw it more like the extinction of the sun or something. That it would be very distant, but it would like eventually happen.
Nope.
Man, okay.
I don't know.
Even if it does, I'm not
I
terribly
genuinely,
interested.
I genuinely don't think that Half-Life 3 will happen ever. Or if it does happen, it'll be a completely different, team than the people who made Half-Life 2. Like, it'll just be a
So
completely
then this
different
story
thing.
is just completely unresolved.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Why
think
did
we'll
they
see.
have to end it on a cliffhanger when they had no idea what was coming next?
I think we'll see Left 4 Dead 3. And I think maybe we'll see Ricochet 2 or whatever. But no, I think Half-Life's done.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe they got tired of making it. Maybe they didn't know where to go.
What the hell is Lost Squad?
I don't know. What is it?
I don't know.
Where did you read that?
It's something about Half-Life 3. Like a different project called Lost Squad. This seems like bullshit.
There's always
Yeah, this
supposed
is
leaks
this is
coming
some
out of
heavy
Valve and
bullshit.
shit.
Just forget it.
I mean, I don't even really I don't even really care that much about the story anymore either. It's just been so long that like
I used to. It was so
I've
cool.
completely. Oh, I used to. I love it, but it's been so long, and so much other good stuff has come out that it's completely in the back of my mind is like not even really something that matters anymore.
You know what might be kind of a silver lining here? That those awesome mysteries will be mysteries.
Yeah, the G-Man and
Forever.
all that shit. They won't like explain it and then ruin everything that makes it
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Although,
because
I mean,
even
I
if they
trust Valve
make
that they-
a Half-Life 3, if he's not involved, then you can kind of separate it mentally if you have to. Yeah, all of those, like, who are the Combine really, and what is their motive, and well, we kind of know what their motive is, but what is it like?
I
In
feel
the
like that stuff
Combine
would have
world?
largely remained unresolved anyway. I trust Valve in doing a good job with like retaining that kind of stuff, like that actually makes the story interesting, even though it is. I mean, in the end, it's a pretty bare bones story, but it's really the style and atmosphere and the not so much the story, but the kind of tone of the setting that they've set up with like how
It's so
oppressive the
bleak.
Combine just
Yeah,
feel and everything. That stuff is what really makes Half-Life 2 good and the episode's good. But like, I mean, Half-Life 1 ended in like a really, you could even call it just an unsatisfying way where like nothing is really explained. It just kind of happens and ends. Of course, that was a different time for video games and storytelling,
yeah.
but I feel like they're perfectly fine with leaving stuff like that open ended anyway, and that Episode 3 or Half-Life 3 wouldn't necessarily try to wrap everything up. So, but anyway, it doesn't matter because we're never getting it. It's never coming out. So,
Womp womp.
womp womp. But I'm excited for Left 4 Dead 3.
I don't. I don't even want to say what they won't do. This is sad.
Yeah. I hope they at least still make things. Like I hope they haven't just turned into
A
Steam
publisher
and
shop.
esports and online shops. Like
Like,
that's
imagine
what Valve is to
Amazon
me right now.
used to write really good books, and now they're just Amazon.
Yeah. I really want them, even if it's just integrated into multiplayer games and stuff, I want them to keep making. They're still some of the best game makers in the industry. I mean,
Yeah,
Team Fortress 2 and Portal and Half-Life and everything they make is great and just well done through and through. And it'd be just a real shame if they let that all go to waste, which they might, because they make a lot of money without doing that stuff.
yeah.
A whole lot.
I guess, yeah, it's kind of hard to justify investing a lot of effort into game development when they make so much by just
Yep.
slightly altering a business model here with item drops, or yeah, it's that was a weird company.
They're a very weird company, and a part of me says like, well, maybe they would just keep making video games because they like making video games and they're a private company and they can do that. But
Not totally sure about that.
I don't know. I
mean,
don't know.
Yeah,
Eric Walpole, yeah, he's the guy who wrote like a lot of the Team Fortress 2 online content and stuff. He's a really great writer, and I don't know
did he
what he's
leave?
doing right now. I don't think he
Oh, he's
left.
still there.
But I don't think he's really doing anything like valuable. Or maybe he is, and they haven't announced it. I don't know. There's nothing more to say about it. It's all conjecture. So, whatever. It's kind of a depressing week.
Yeah. If
Sorry,
you
I
wanna
remembered to bring up that bit of news.
make the comparisons, I guess.
We've got celebrities dying of cancer, children dying of cancer, and Valve dying of
Money.
commodity cancer. So this has been episode 61 of the Push Out podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't upload episode 60. I didn't have the audio files, and I was too lazy to get them from Mike, which I think he has a backup.
Nope. But just hack it from the.
Whatever. I'll still make a post
the
for it, but
video.
you're not going to get the audio version. I don't know. Maybe I'll hack the video version. Maybe I'll get to pull the MP3 and
Yeah.
go through all that work just for the fans. So sorry.
We love you guys and we hate ourselves. 'Cause
I
it's
like
sad.
myself.
Well, I hate you then.
That's fine.
Guys, enjoy your merry lives. Happy, happy.
Good night.